is Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday. I'm buying time to... here it is. June 16th, 2017. I would never do very well in those concussion tests because I rarely know the date or the month. Not just the date, guys. The month. There's plenty of times where I have no idea what month we're in.
If you were bombing one of those, would you do the Batman thing, like the Batman commercial that we watched the other day with this for Snickers? Yeah.
Maybe.
Just to
depends.
go out
I mean,
like this is the funniest thing
You
ever.
just want me to go out with a bang?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I could do that. On today's show, we will have Evelyn Rodriguez in studio. She's going to be co-hosting the show with us. If you follow me on Snapchat, she lets you know that. Al Iaquinta will join us in the latter part of the show, almost towards the end. He's going to come on and do him. That's what he does. That's why he's entertaining. And we may actually have somebody else come in, but we still not too sure on that. And he was extremely vague in his response, so could be, could not. Who knows? Hi.
And can I give another hint that only junkies that went to Junkie Gathering will know?
Sure.
Almost got in a fight during the flag football game.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody had a video of that, by the way. I saw somebody posted yesterday. They didn't
Really?
they didn't even realize they had it. they put it up.
What side of the field was the video being filmed from? Because I didn't
our
really
side.
hear. So you really can't hear what they're saying. Because that was the one thing I missed.
No.
I was on our sidelines, so I didn't hear what they actually said.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to kind of like watch body language. Did not look like a happy conversation.
No, it did not.
It wasn't like, I like football. You like football too? I love football.
I was shitting my pants.
I was like, is this really going to happen right now? All right, coming up at 30. We also have another edition of MMA History Today.
Is it a good MMA history today?
It's titled Equality today. That's
Oh,
the only
okay.
preview you get. Yeah. So we'll end on a happy note for today, for the end of the week. All right, guys, coming up at 10.
All right, goes. What about me?
I didn't know you were there. All right,
I'm right
guys,
here.
coming up at 10.
Wait, how could it be 10? That was like 5 seconds ago.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McGarren Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes. Ari's co-host, and back east, he'll handle all the producing duties for today. It's Danny. What's up, guys?
What's up? How are you?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ready to talk a little Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, or are you all tapped out?
Is there more?
No?
Anything been
No,
revealed?
but I was shocked that people still want to talk about it. Still.
Well,
Everybody,
there's
and I
so
can't
many
believe how
things
many
to talk
people
about.
are on the Conor side.
There's a lot of things to talk about.
This is
We
all
could
I
start
talked
with
about
just
yesterday.
who do you think is going to win, and then how does that person win? And then, of course,
What is
anybody
the
that
win
says
for the other side?
if Conor wins, you ask him, what drug are you taking? But I guess what I want to talk about, if we want to go down that road, is do you think Conor will be back? And if so, will it be this year, like Dana White has alluded to? And if so, will it be defending his lightweight title? Is that what Ferguson's waiting for? Because there's a connect the dots thing going on with one of our guests today, Al Iaquinta, who's basically shoving Ferguson, saying, come on, let's go fight after school. And, of course, shoving Iaquinta is guys like Evan Dunham. So there's kind of like a little bit of a chain reaction. Now, we're almost through Ramadan. I believe there's about a week left.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe at that point, Khabib will say, I'm now ready to continue my career. He also has a side story there with the weight cutting. I think, I don't know if he'll have to do some sort of, what kind of guarantees he'll have to give WME IMG, going forward about making 55. But regardless, he'll be a player in the game. Nate's also waiting on Conor. So that division's just on hold. Somebody said, could this be too soon? And I was like, it's not soon enough. Because I just want to get past that. This fight with Mayweather, I just want to get past it. Let's get through these press conferences. Let's go through the fight. Whatever happens, man. If Conor hits lightning in a bottle and knocks him out, great. And if he doesn't, then let's get him back in MMA. But let's sort out 55. Hell, even if he gets KO'd by Floyd or KOs Floyd, and on that night he proclaims himself to be the greatest human being ever, fine. But are you retiring or not? Like, I want to know what's happening with 55. Now, part of WME IMG thinks he may be. Like, that's a possibility. Because that's why Khabib and Ferguson was interim. You see what I'm saying? I'd like to get to that point and sort it out because there's so much talent in this division, and it's just not fair. Now, Conor did fight 3 big fights last year, and going back to Jose Aldo, in a 12-month period, not in 1 year, but in a 12-month period, he did fight 4 times. So having a baby, having some time off, yeah, he did Jose in December of 15. He did Nate in March of 16. He did Nate 2 in August, I think, of 16. And he did Alvarez in November of 16. So he was pretty busy. Time off, no problem with it. Having the kid, of course, and pursuing a fight that'll put $100 million in your pocket or $70 million, whatever the rumors are, no problem. But at the same time, if you are leaving, then we should start planting the seed with interim titles and other stuff, getting that going. So yeah, I do want to just get to the fight and get it over with is what I want more than anything.
I'd rather know now. I mean, I think
he's not going to tell us.
I think it's just kind of silly, to be honest. But whatever. We're in this boat. We're just a couple monkeys along for the ride here.
You're saying people want to talk about it. Is that the feeling on social media or
yeah,
what's
no,
the
it's
deal?
just I thought it was going to be one day of every aspect of this fight that you could break down. And then from there, it would just kind of drift away. But, man, I can't believe how much support Conor McGregor has in this fight. And then there's just different angles to cover. I mean, I guess you could go, for you and I, we both think he's going to get demolished, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you could also say, well, what is a victory for Conor McGregor in that situation, right? If he makes it 5 rounds, is that a victory? If he doesn't get knocked out, is that a victory?
I think if he doesn't get knocked out, it's a victory.
Like, how do you?
Because how could 20-some others, high 20s, I think Floyd's count is. So 60% of his
him
fighters,
down, but get knocked out. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of like little subplots to it that are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I was just talking. Evelyn Rodriguez was here earlier.
She'll be
She's doing
co-hosting
an
the
interview
show
right now.
Yep.
But we were just talking about how the effect that first Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight had on Las Vegas, and just the scummy feeling we had after it. I don't know.
The Pacquiao fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good word. Defrauded.
Walk of shame is basically what we all did.
I don't know. And then there's also a part of me that says, well, what'd you expect? I mean, Floyd's fights kind of are that way. If he figures you out, he's not going to put himself out there just for your pleasure.
And Manny didn't really.
He just wants the bank. It's almost like Floyd would work better with $50 million to show, $50 million for the finish. You know, something like that. Um, maybe he would turn it on. I think he can turn it on, but they say he has these
I don't
hand
think he can.
issues and he doesn't want to break his hand and who knows what. I don't know. Maybe he just takes pride in being the slyest boxer ever, the best chess player ever in the squared circle. It could be that. Others say they want to be the knockout artist. I think Gennadi's like, if he's 136, he's got 33 KOs. I think Deontay's 34 with 33 KOs or something like that. So some of them just get after it, Of course, you put yourself in the position you could lose as well. And Floyd's never lost. But you look, if you ask anyone, what's the top 10 in boxing? Floyd's not at the top in everybody's. He's not in the top of most people's. There's other people with losses that are there. So just being the undefeated guy is a great mark to have, but I don't know that it gives you that legendary status. And I think a lot of these people like to cement that when they walk away from the sport.
I think
Having
he's,
known that fans thought you were a great one or the greatest or whatever, and with that, I think comes risk taken, boxing to the best of your ability for all 12 rounds. A lot of criteria.
I think he's okay with it, but I think a lot of it has to do with the people that surround him. Are just, if you watch 24/7 or you've ever been to the gym, they're all hanging from his nuts, basically, right? They're just all people going, "You're the best, baby. You're the best. Woohoo! Let's go spend some money." When you hear that over and over, you don't have those thoughts of, "But you don't knock people out or you don't do this." I think he's just okay with it. There's a difference, man. I mean, we've been saying it for the longest time. Greatest boxer that probably ever lived. Not the greatest fighter, though. There's a difference, okay? This is the difference. This is the way I like to look at it. If you put Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran in an elevator, okay, before their fight, when that door opens, one of those guys is going to be on the floor. They just couldn't stand being around each other. They couldn't wait to fight each other. Hell, you may even tell them, guess what? We pulled the purses. They may still go, fuck it, I'm going to fight that guy because I hate that guy. If you put Floyd Mayweather and let's just say Manny Pacquiao in the elevator, they would make it all the way down. He doesn't have that fire in him. That fighter. It's all about money, and I don't have an issue with that. It's different, but it's not the same as some of these other guys. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier would not make it down all the way that elevator. Somebody would be asleep. That's the difference.
Well, that's what I like in MMA. I love it when there's heat between two people. And if I don't know them, then I can't wait to see the loser eat crow. Just for about a minute, and then after that, I want to put my arm around him and go, shake it off, man. You'll be back. And thank you for fighting and for being one of the brave individuals that gives us fight fans pleasure, But I love the build-up. I just love it until someone has to pay the piper. And then the other one, I'm also the guy that says, hey, get on my shoulder. And someone else pick him up and let's parade him around. He deserves all that. You know what I mean? He or she deserves all that praise. So I love seeing those opposite ends of the spectrum. But again, only for a little while. So after the guy gets knocked out, I'm not trying to rush there and add my shoot box stomps. No, it's not like that.
I'm trying to be O-Dog.
Just enough to make them pay the price for what they said or whatever, especially if they were like the bully along the way or the loudmouth along the way. But that's what gets fans interested, or at least fans like me, and I believe most fight fans are like me. And then there's that crushing feeling, and then you know what? You get right back at it again. And I've gone through these cycles with many fighters where I didn't like them at first, and I came to like them a lot.
Phil Baroni?
Phil Baroni's one of them.
Frank
Even
Drake?
Kevin Lee's first time here, he got off to a good start because he listened to us on the show, and he called in saying, when y'all going to have me? And I had seen him fight in San Diego on the Duffy Mirror card. He wasn't getting asked many questions. And I could understand him being, I think, feeling a little insulted. Like, I was on the fight card too, I fought and not getting attention. I'm proud of the way he fights for that. He's a hustler. He had the same problem with Ariel. He told Ariel, I've been trying to get on your show. So he does that on his own. He doesn't wait to be seeked out. Why? Because he wants to make a difference in the sport. He wants to get paid. He wants to get paid what he's worth for the sacrifices that he makes and what he puts his body through. He wants to get paid and compensated for that, and there's nothing wrong with it. Some are a little unrealistic, and some frankly, don't get what they should. They realized it a little too late. Evan Dunham. He wasn't here long enough, but we could have spent a couple hours with him. I think I would have told him, Evan, we've kind of been trying to do this. We've really been pushing you the last few years, and like he said, I think I put it out for him, but he keeps his cards to his chest. He doesn't reveal as much, so it's hard to go and ride with him. It's almost like he's driving in this hoopty, honks the horn, and he says, "Get in." And you go, "Where are we going?" He goes, "I can't tell you." And you're sitting in the car and you're asking, "Where are we going? Like, what's the deal here?" And he's just driving and driving.
Passing Disney, you're passing knots.
Bridges, tunnels, everything, and you can't figure out where it is. A guy like Kevin Lee says, "Listen, man, we're gonna go over here, stop with my homies. He's gonna load us up. We're gonna get some drinks or whatever. Then we're gonna pick up a couple chicks over here, and then we're going to this party over here. And then there's after hours over here, and check my phone because we might get into a private party, maybe the Playboy man. You know what I mean? It's like you're along for the ride, and that to me makes it more fun. So I like hearing. I mean, you don't have to tell me exactly. Like in October I fight Iaquinta, in January I fight this guy, and in April I fight for the world title. And it better be here or I quit. And I don't need those kind of details, but I need to know where you're headed. And so Evan's just starting to get a little bit more comfortable with that. He had an attempt on social media, and a little bit of buzz. I got excited about him and Iaquinta. I think that makes sense. They paid their dues, but Iaquinta doesn't seem to be as interested, although we'll ask him. So anyway, all over the place here, but we want you to chime in. 866-522-2846. We will be joined by Evelyn Rodriguez here from Combate, one of the huge websites in Brazil that covers mixed martial arts. I see her around a lot all over town, and anytime you see Combate breaking a story, and they do it often, I'm sure she has a lot to do with it. Speaks English very well, so I'm sure you guys will enjoy her appearance here. We'll be joined by Iaquinta, but that's still a ways away. Right now it's all about you. 866-522-2846. Also, this is pretty much your last time to give us your predictions on Holly Holm versus Betch Correia. That takes place. Let's see how I can put this. Today is Friday morning, June 16th. It takes place tonight, but technically early Saturday morning. So that's the best way I can put it. When I say Saturday morning, it's really early Saturday morning or late Friday night, however you want to call it. I'm going to give you the times here. It's a Fight Pass event. All of it is on Fight Pass. All of it, boy. And it starts at 4:45 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. 1:45 a.m. Pacific Time on Saturday, technically. But again, it's like later tonight. The main card starts at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 a.m. Pacific on Saturday. So an early affair tomorrow. If you can power through the night, this reminds me of basically Pride. Pride used to start around midnight. No, this is about right.
No, because Pride would start like around 11 or something like that.
Okay, so this is worse. You're staying up later. Yeah, it is. I suppose you could just wake up and probably not see any spoilers. I mean, if you just go directly to Fight Pass and enjoy it that way, I suppose that is the way.
It takes away your social media and all that, though, right?
It does.
It's part of the fun.
Now, here's the deal. The card's not stacked. I know Mike Bond in the UFC Fight Pass account had a little bit of an argument. There's some ranked fighters on here. This will sort out, some of the careers that are out there, like Colby Covington, who really wants to make a run at 170, and Holly Holm just has to get back in the W column. What, she got 3 losses in a row? Mm-hmm. Right? Would be a huge win for Betch Correia if she can pull it off. Martin Tybura could get over on Arlovsky, who would go to 0-5, and that might be the end of his career.
It's got to be.
Yeah. And Arlovsky, if he wins,
not career,
that's a
UFC.
You're right. UFC career. And Arlovsky, if he wins, that could be massive for him. I mean, he needs a pulse. I got to believe this guy's pretty much close to being done in the UFC. And after that great run that he had, outside the UFC and back in the UFC, 4 in a row. Top cats, but still. Dos Anjos graduating to welterweight. Let's see what he's like there. Safadine doesn't fight very often, but when he does, he can be a tough customer.
Who'd you pick in that fight?
Gomi and Tuck. took Safadine.
I did too.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be too big. I think he's going to hit too hard.
And Dos Anjos, like, I thought the world of Dos Anjos. I thought he was going to mop up Conor. I really did. And then he got the ankle injury, right? Is that what it was? And then he loses to Alvarez. And I still believed he was one of the top lightweights out there. I just attributed to he fought another great lightweight and got caught. And then Ferguson kind of dissected him, and took him apart a little. And then, of course, he says, hey, man, it's just too rough. I got to go to welterweight. So I'll give him that chance. Let's see if this is the fight. I think Safadine's the perfect opponent. Gomi is also on life support. He's got John Tuck. I think John Tuck's going to beat him. Walt Harris. Walt Harris had an incredible debut. He told us before the Jared Roshaw fight, he goes, you're never going to see a heavyweight strike like me. And he went out there and he had flashy kicks and everything. Mm-hmm. He won the first round from Jared Roshaw and then got grinded out the last 2 rounds. But I was impressed. Then, of course, he experienced a couple losses, but it looks like now things are dialed in and maybe he can be that exciting heavyweight that we've been waiting for. Possible contender, maybe a champ. That's still ways away, but at least, a heavyweight that's dynamic, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think he just needed time and experience. He's with a good camp. It's hard not to get better.
Well, here's what happened. Oh, yeah. And did you know Arlovsky trained in Florida?
No.
Yeah, he left Jackson's for this camp. Wanted to be closer to family, and he really clicked out there. He used some of Masvidal's coaches, and I guess he spent some time at American Top Team. So a new look there. Justin Scoggins is on the card. Bruce Leroy's on the card. Russell Doan's on the card. So veterans are towards the bottom, and they're fighting fighters that are just lesser known, whatever. This might be the time to just peck away and blast the books on the parlays, because sometimes when there's not enough info out there on certain guys or gals and they're facing veterans, I mean, you have a good chance to exploit here. So take a look at it. It's all on MMA Junkie. If you go to the Rumors tab, it's all laid out. Just click down to UFC Fight Night 111 Holm versus Correa. Let's get a couple calls in, and we'll take our break. It's MMA Junkie Radio on a Friday, and we'll start off with Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco?
Hey, Marco from Waco. ¿Qué pasa, dude?
¿Qué pasa?
Hi.
Hey, real quick, my picks for this weekend. I got Covington, Scoggins, Dos Anjos. I got Arlovsky on the upset because I want that dude to win, just sentimental. And, of course, I got Holly Holm by knockout on the third head kick.
Did you see Colby Covington's weigh-in?
So what did he do? I saw a GIF.
Dude, it was so funny.
He stood there, and then Stun Gun turned around and said, what's wrong with this guy, right?
Yeah.
But why did he do that?
Because he was so serious, like what's up?
Well, it's not like that's never been done before.
I think he was just playing around, but just Kim's reaction was so funny.
But with the GIF, it wasn't as clear, so I thought, did he have something in his hand or something that I possibly missed?
It was his version of going like this.
He's weird. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, so Marco's going with Covington, Scoggins, RDA, Holm, and who? Oh, Arlovsky. So a lot of favorites there, Marco. You didn't really put yourself out there. You did take Arlovsky, but then you said it's sentimental. So come Monday, if anybody were to say, hey, you took Arlovsky, you don't know how to pick MMA, you go, well, what's a sentimental pick?
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Real quick on talking about McGregor leaving MMA after this because he's going to make a shit lot of money. I don't like that argument because if that was the case, every single freaking NBA player that get a $200 million contract would stop playing after their contract is up, or a baseball player, or you name it.
They're not getting knocked out,
McGregor? Though. Yeah, but wait, even prize fighters. I mean, Mike Tyson was, knocking people out, and after he got knocked out, came back for more money. What drives McGregor is money. I know he loves watching himself on that Forbes list of best play athletes. I know he wants to climb that list up. Mm-hmm. I remember a freaking interview when he was with Ronaldo. He got a famous picture with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And then I guess he was talking with Ronaldo about how much money he make on the year. And Ronaldo kind of sort of check him and talk him, I make like 6 times that in 1 year, and I got my own private jet. I think that irks McGregor. He wants to be the one saying, I got $500 million on the bank, and I also got my own private jet. So what's up, Ronaldo? So I don't think he's walking away.
Maybe, yeah.
But there's a difference. Like, look, if you take Mike Tyson, let's just say they told him, here's $50 million to fight Leon Spinks, okay? They didn't turn around and go, now you're going to get 5 to fight Tony Tubbs, right? It's always an increase. I think that's what keeps the boxers going forward is they get an increase in money. Conor would take a decrease
What
in
I-
pay.
Yeah, but okay. To what
What I
Marco's saying is, remember yesterday I was saying sometimes the athletes sign the $30 million contract, but then when they're at the tail end, like what's the guy that the great outside shooter? His first name's Ray. He played with the Celtics.
Allen?
Ray Allen. He took really less money just to play with the Heat.
To win a championship.
To win a championship, and because he could still play, I think he figured, hey, I'm just playing ball here, and if I can still make $5 million, maybe not $25 million, but still have a good time, I'll do it. Conor would still be fighting for the biggest purse that the UFC can offer,
Which
and
is nowhere near the boxing purse, though.
well, that's a one-time thing.
And
though.
here's the thing.
And he may not get knocked out. He may just get decision.
If he tries to get even more money from the UFC, I don't think they'll budge this time because that's going to ruin UFC.
Right. Right. So then would you be walking away from a sport that you're the best at in a certain division just because of the pride and the ego thing? I mean, you know, in Hollywood, again, I know they're not getting knocked out, but
he could do Hollywood.
There's people. He's turned it down. He's turned down a lot of money to fight for lesser money. You know, the actors, they go through this, like, I know, like, they get to this pinnacle, like Angelina Jolie. Jesus, I'm going to sneeze. Denzel. Just come sneeze.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
What happened?
I'm about to sneeze.
No!
Okay, hold on.
What are you, dopey? Just sneeze.
I can't. I want to.
Just hit yourself in the nose.
Is that it?
Well, that's what happened to me.
Well, listen. In Hollywood, they say when you get to 20 million, like Pitt and Clooney and all them, that's like when you've reached it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're turning down these scripts. But then as they get a little bit older and there's a new generation that comes through and they're the it actor or actress or whatever, you start to take some of these roles. You start to let your clients know, all right, I'll take the 10 millions and the 5 millions because it's still acting. You know, you've reached your peak, but it's still fairly well compensated. Goes, you said it yourself. Conor McGregor he now has a lifestyle as well. And granted, this will help a lot, but still, he's got a lifestyle, and you know, still to be in his 20s. His last fight, he mauled Eddie Alvarez. I think he could feel like I can still do this, you know, because he wants that rush. He wants that kind of greatness. And to leave in his peak, I don't know, man. If his last couple losses had been, of the 3 losses, 2 have been submissions. Forget what the other one was. If he had a long list of KOs, maybe. But I think he really will be back, regardless of win or lose. Well, I know he's going to lose against Mayweather, but regardless of how it goes down, I think he comes back.
I'm looking at it more as Mayweather's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go home, and he's going to go, man, I got this cute little baby that I haven't had much time to hang out with. Wife's probably going to go, like, you're going to get another camp again. There's these killers that are waiting for him at the 155 level. I think he may walk away for a while.
Okay.
See, this is my take on it. I don't think we see him fight at 155 no more. He's going to do a specialty fight like George St. Pierre that is going to probably guarantee him a $20 million pay, and that is not chump change, you know, and things like that. You'll see him once a year, and then maybe in the future you even see McGregor promotions. He's going to promote boxing and MMA. That is what I think. This guy is driven by money, and that's why I think he's going to do something like that. Well, I'll let you guys next week enjoy the fights.
All right, Marco. All right, let's take this commercial. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. When we come back, we'll be joined by Evelyn Rodriguez from Combate. Stay close, Junkie fans.
to link into the MMA Junkie Radio Network. Hit us up on Twitter.com at MMA Junkie Radio. This is MMA Junkie Radio. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
The Golden State Warriors may have ended the NBA season in dominant fashion, but there's still plenty of action in the association with the NBA draft. Next week, preview the top prospects with Coach K on NBA Radio. Hear interviews with players, attend the draft party with NBA Radio hosts, and listen to the picks as they happen. Basketball is our life on NBA Radio, Sirius 207, XM86, and on the Sirius XM app. Coach K, that's a good haul for them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Good job,
Doesn't
NBA
get that much
channel.
bigger, right?
Yep. I want to welcome to the show Evelyn Rodriguez. We'll call her Evie. How you doing, Evie? Welcome to MMA Junkie Radio.
Thank you so much, guys, for the invitation. I'm very good today, working a lot like you guys, right?
Yeah. Mayweather, McGregor, right?
Oh, gosh. Everybody wants to know about this fight, so yeah.
Hashtag Mac, I think is what they're going with.
Yeah,
And so when I walked in, Evie told me I'll step right in. She was doing an interview. You were calling back to Brazil, and
yes.
They wanted to get your feel for the pulse of the city now that the announcement's been made. And what are your thoughts on the fight?
I think it's a good fight for McGregor just because of the exposure that he's going to have right now because of that. But I don't know. Like, every time you have somebody as good as Floyd Mayweather, he's the greatest boxer of our time right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to face somebody that has no experience whatsoever with boxing, not even one fight. It's just, I don't think that fight's going to go very well for McGregor, no matter what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a money fight. It's entertainment, but no more than that. I don't think it's going to be a good fight.
It appears Evie has a brain because anybody that thinks Conor has a chance doesn't have a brain. They can't possibly have one. She gets it. It's all about money. It's great for Mayweather. It's great for McGregor. It's even great for the UFC. Money will be made, and we'll all move on. There'll be a couple days where people will say stuff, boxing's better than MMA or whatever. But honestly, it's good for those parties involved. It'll be good for our website traffic, your website traffic. There'll be a buzz in the city. The hotels will make some money. The T-Mobile will be rocking.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. I'm glad it happens in 2 months, and we get past it and we get back to McGregor hopefully still continuing as a lightweight champion.
I don't know, because after cashing $100 million check, would you come back to face?
That's what he's saying.
Who's gonna be a challenge for him after that?
Yeah.
You are facing the greatest boxer of our time right now, and then much respect for Khabib, Ferguson, or all those champs, but who's gonna be a challenge like that for him? I don't know. I don't think he's gonna fight after.
So he may retire from
I
MMA.
think so, and then he might go to do movies and things. He'll, be a superstar that he is already not really training to fight for $1 million, $2 million, or
right.
I don't
Well,
know.
he had a movie role, and it's the one that was accepted by Michael Bisping. What's that movie called? Triple X or something like that?
Yeah.
All right. And somebody asked him about it, and he said, I accepted it. He was reluctant, but he accepted it. And then he realized, I'm a fighter. I like to fight, And when he said it and I was watching the interview, I was like, salute, Conor. That's what I wanted to hear, So I firmly believe that win or lose, but especially if he's humbled, that he'll dust himself off, just like he did in the Diaz fight, and say, respect to the boxer. I came into his world. He'll dress it up a little bit. Should he come into my world, we'll see what's up, whatever. And I think those fibers inside of his body will still say, you're the best at 155 pounds, go out there and do it. Or maybe make history and go up to 170 or I don't know what. But I have the feeling he'll be back. Go says he doesn't think he'll be back. So.
He might want to try to get the welterweight title, try to go up. But I just feel like he's not going to have a challenge, nothing is going to be as big as this fight for him in his life, So when you reach the pinnacle, it's kind of hard for you to try to get something as big as that. And he is ambitious, I was watching an interview that he was saying, I came from nothing, just something, to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think this fight is everything, and I don't think he's gonna go back to something after that.
Mm-hmm.
His problem is he's going up against a guy that had the same background. He came from nothing. Now he's got everything.
That's true.
Nothing? I mean,
yeah,
Uncle Roger and Floyd Sr., they made some bank, didn't they?
Listen to the stories of him growing up.
Okay, I don't know much about his childhood exactly, and maybe the family that generation before him, but I would have imagined that the three Mayweathers boxed and made money, and the family did okay. Who knows? I really don't know too much about Floyd's past. When he beat De La Hoya, that's when I paid more attention to him. Before then, I saw him through the Olympics and just figured he was just another boxer, and we'll see what he does.
That angle that you threw out, which he'll probably do when he loses, come to my world, we'll see what happens. I'm not even so confident that that's like a wrap in MMA, okay? Because when have we ever known Conor to be this takedown guy or a jiu-jitsu guy, right? He wins his fights with his hands and his mouth.
And his kicks.
So if you're ever going to have somebody from MMA represent in that capacity, Conor would be like 20 or 30 on my list. There's a lot of guys I would go through feeling more confident.
Excuse me?
Like a Habib.
What do you mean?
Somebody that's going to grab a hold of Floyd, take him down, and just beat the crap out of him.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but
Conor's actually, if you're going to go towards MMA and face a guy in the cage, that's probably one of the guys that you would want to fight.
You know what? It was crazy,
He'll
though?
stand with you.
Floyd.
I was watching an interview where I think Bob Bennett said that the director of the commission said that other boxers tried to fight Conor as well. Like when in the negotiation, when Floyd was not sure if he was going to take the fight, they tried to offer him Canelo and some other big names. Pacquiao was one of them. So I think it's crazy the boxing world looking at McGregor like that, thinking, oh my God, this guy has power in his hand, and he really can take one of the biggest names of boxing today. I don't think it's only Floyd, and this is something that for a long time we were talking about who is bigger, boxing or MMA, and like MMA is getting bigger than boxing, and now the two worlds are getting together, and for me that's the amazing thing about this fight.
Do you consider it a win for Conor and a loss for Floyd? And I'm not crazy here, but if Floyd beats him in a 12-round fight but doesn't finish him, is it still a win for Conor and a loss for Floyd? What do you guys think?
I think it is a little bit.
So do I.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's like you couldn't finish that guy. You know what I mean? I was telling Goes, I think his record's 49-0 with 29 KOs. How did you KO so many guys, but you couldn't KO the MMA guy? I mean, like, I think he'd take some flack for that. I mean, he'll still sleep on his pillow full of money, on his gold-plated pillows and everything, but I still think I consider it a loss for Floyd if he doesn't finish him, and a win for Conor if he can last, that long.
And I think that the last KO for Floyd was in 2011. So
the Ortiz.
Yeah, so I don't think he's been winning, but not really like KOing the opponents. And I don't know. We need to see. I never seen McGregor being tested. Like his chin was not that tested, Anyways, we don't really know. But did you see the footage of his training, his boxing training?
Not yet. How's it look?
You should watch that. I don't know. I hope it's not how he is right now.
I've only seen the sparring that he's done at Wildcard, and he's a solid boxer for MMA, but he's not a boxer for boxing and whatever. I don't want to just completely sound. These last 3 days have just made it sound like the guy has no shot. I don't want people to think that I'm disrespecting him as an MMA athlete, as the power that he has as a combat sports athlete. But as a boxer, I stand firm, man. He could not beat any of the guys Floyd's ever beaten. He couldn't beat Brandon Rios, who hadn't fought in months, and I was just sitting there watching. I don't know where I was. I just happened to change the channel. I was like, oh, he's back, Brandon Rios. And I was watching. I was going, God, these boxers still have these incredible skills after so many years of not fighting. And he's a solid fighter, but he's not like a legendary fighter or anything. But these guys can still throw, and they know exactly how to throw, and they see things that MMA fighters just don't see. So, yeah.
Did you see the way Canelo picked apart Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.?
Yeah.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. could do that to Conor McGregor.
I know.
That's how insane all of this
Did you
is.
see Angelo's face when I asked him, do you think Floyd Mayweather Sr. could beat Conor? And he actually had to consider it because he's older now,
He throws the...
I know. Those are skills that are tough to, acquire or to be gifted with, but to perfect. Whatever. All right, let's talk to Cliff from Calgary. What's up, Cliff? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I got an analogy I think that's pretty suiting for this McGregor-Mayweather fight.
All right.
Right now, Mayweather is Tom Brady. Getting a little older, maybe the deep ball doesn't go as far. He's losing a bit of mobility, sure. McGregor is like a kicker on the sidelines who threw a couple good passes to a receiver, and he says, fuck it, put me in, coach, I'm playing QB. Who's going to get the better passer rating and win the game? It's going to be Tom fucking
Brady, yeah.
It's ridiculous, really, but who knows? That's all I got, man.
Okay, Cliff. Do you consider it a loss for Floyd if he doesn't knock him out, and a win for Conor if he can last 12 rounds with one of the greatest boxers ever?
Morally, maybe, but a W is a W on the sheet, man.
Yeah, I get you. All right. 866-522-2846. Do you think it'll break 4.6 million pay-per-view buys, which is what Mayweather and Pacquiao did, Evie?
I think it can, because you're putting together now two worlds. We're getting like McGregor's fans and then Mayweather's fans, and even if it sounds crazy, because like the background of both fighters is totally different, and that Mayweather is gonna be like the winner, kind of. I think people want to see what's gonna happen, and McGregor still has a shot, no matter what we say. It's like every time somebody is inside the octagon or the ring, you have 50-50. I think it's more like 90-10% maybe, or even 95-5%. But I think they're counting on maybe McGregor connecting a very strong punch, and that's it. Like, it's what they are saying. Like, oh, he's gonna get close, and then if he touches him, he's gonna go to sleep. I don't know. Like, Floyd is being tested through the best boxers ever, and he's still here.
Right.
So
How many pay-per-views do you think they'll sell?
maybe 4.7, 4.8.
4.7, 4.8. Goes?
I've gone back and forth on this, and I always think about when we walk in here, ESPN or Fox Sports that's up there on the screen. They're probably gonna poo on this fight. I think the analysts are gonna say this is crazy, this is stupid, but all that's gonna change the second these two idiots get in front of each other and one of them shoves the other, or the other one steals the hat off the other guy. Then it becomes, we're not watching this to see one guy possibly shock the world. We're watching it to see one of these two guys get his ass kicked. That changes everything. So I will say it will go just a little bit under Mayweather and Pacquiao, only because we had such a sour taste in our mouth from that last one that I think more people are going to say, let's just get together and watch it.
4.5, 4.0, what?
4.3. Like my GPA in high school.
4.3. What was that, like a 2.1 in each semester? All right, I'm going to go with, thank you, Danny. He's awake.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say half. Yeah, 2.3. My GPA.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
2.3. I think that this has a big oomph. It was a big splash, fireworks, but I think reality is going to kick in for a lot of people, and they're going to remember when they're going to flash it and say 99.95 or 99.99 for the pay-per-view, and you go, oh, and then people are going to have friends that say, you remember what happened with Pacquiao and Mayweather, and then it's going to set in. Now, what you're saying is very important, because if there is that kind of drama, a lot of people pay for that type of entertainment. But if it's very respectful and there isn't that type of a setting, and they just go into it, I don't know that people will be pulled in on fight night. I think they'll realize the ridiculousness of it all, because there's going to be people with strong opinions of how this one guy just does not have a shot to beat the other guy.
But we also have like superstars talking about how Conor can beat Floyd Mayweather right now. Sylvester Stallone was one of them. So when you have celebrities talking about a fight, I think it's gonna get even more hype. I don't know. It's my opinion.
Sylvester said that?
Yeah.
He thinks. Does he think
said that.
he can win or he will win?
He said he believes that he can win. So that's the thing, you are going to have a lot of celebrities with a lot of followers talking about this fight for 2 months right now. We've been talking about that for quite some time, like, oh, never gonna happen, it's not gonna happen, and then suddenly you have the fight. So I don't know. I think they will promote this globally, and I think that's the thing. In Brazil right now, everybody just talks about that. They are not even Brazilian, So everybody's just like, oh my God, Conor McGregor, who beat Aldo, is gonna face the best boxer ever. So everybody wants to watch it, and I think they're going to sell this more. Maybe not as much as in US, but I think globally people are going to try to watch it and see what's gonna happen. I don't know.
Do you think if Sylvester, like, there's word behind the scenes that if he promotes it, those are his tickets to get in? Is that how it works with The Rock and all these other celebrities? Like, just say you'll be there. Just say how this guy has a chance to win, and you'll. Because you remember with Pacquiao and Mayweather, they had to agree on the ticket split. Remember, and each side got a certain amount of tickets. So are you going to be a celebrity that comes under the UFC side, even though they're saying they're not the promoter, they're going to have a role in this, a ticket allocation. I wonder if that's his ticket to get in, is to say something like that.
I don't really know if he has a relationship with Conor or what, but he said that, and I think more people are going to talk about this fight, And
now that I think about it, I think Conor's going to win.
Nice.
I think he's going to knock him out.
He said he is the actual Rocky, Rock Balboa.
Yeah.
He was trying to compare him. He said he's the real Rocky, so I think that's why he was talking about it. I don't really know about celebrities in Brazil are already talking about that as well. So I think it's gonna get more hype as the fight's gonna get close.
I was surprised Stallone went that route.
Me too.
Because he's a little bit of a purist when it comes to boxing, and he's kind of boys with Canelo Alvarez. So I thought, if anything, he may go the route of, if you really want to watch a fight, watch Canelo, Triple G, that sort of thing. But, hey, man, celebrities love to be in these situations.
And even if you have people like Oscar de la Hoya saying, this is, the worst thing for boxing, but boxing is not going to survive, he's still talking about the fight,
Mm-hmm.
So...
I don't know why he said that, too. Boxing's on a comeback. I mean, maybe he was bitter that his guy didn't get the fight. There were talks, like Evie said, that if Mayweather didn't get it, that the Pacquiao camp, Bob Arum had said, our guy will do it, and the Golden Boy guy, would be Canelo in this case, he would do it. But
would it carry the same weight? It wouldn't carry with Pacquiao. Maybe Canelo, but not with Pacquiao.
I don't know.
Well,
it's true.
I mean,
the thing is,
Canelo sold over 1 million. Pacquiao
crazy.
sold over 1 million. Mayweather sold a lot with Pacquiao, but Mayweather by himself didn't sell that much more than Pacquiao.
Yeah,
there were certain fights that Pacquiao sold well as well, but Canelo going over 1 million against Chavez Jr., that was amazing to hear. So you can tell he's on. I think it would have had some pop to it, but not like this one.
So?
Yeah.
I was looking at the biggest pay-per-views ever, the whole time. Flight has two. Was the first one was Mayweather and Pacquiao, that was 4.6 million. Then Mayweather and Oscar de la Hoya was the second one, 2.4 million, and the third one was Mayweather and Canelo, 2.2 million. And Conor has the sixth position. He sold 1.65 million against Nick Diaz. So I think if he matches up with any of those names, I think would be a lot of people watching still. They would still sell a lot of pay-per-views, I think.
I have no problem with their superstardom colliding. We have to take a break. All right. Let's take this break. When we come back, I'll just give you my final take on why I believe it'll come up a little bit short. I still think 2 million is an incredible number. Or my final take for today.
Yeah, trust me.
But the superstardom will collide, but I'll tell you what I think is holding me back, and I think will hold some people back. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Get in the queue at 866-522-2846. Dean and George is up first when we come back.
compassion, common sense. These guys have none of that. You listen to them, so you're no better. I am awesome, though. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
George could have benefited from the part where he says, and this is MMA Junkie Radio. Rock just wrapped up right now. We're back on MMA Junkie Radio. George went to go get the odds. Thank you. What do we have here?
These are the current MMA odds for tomorrow.
What's UFC Test A, Test B?
Here is
So like
McGregor and Connor, like Evie said, is right there. And this is Kovalev and Ward. Wow. Okay. We'll talk about Kovalev and Ward in a few minutes. But, yeah, it's minus 750. That was 1,000 the other day, wasn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So McGregor money's coming in.
People are betting on McGregor. And I think also because you have to spend so much money to bet on Mayweather that,
Maybe. It's good for us. Maybe we get upgrades here in the sports book.
I'm hearing there's tickets available for this fight with Kovalev and Ward. It's a replay of their fight from last year. Kovalev knocked him down in the second round. Ward came back and outboxed him, got a split decision. Controversial. Many sharps think that Kovalev did enough, but like Cliff said earlier, a W is a W. And I know that the W is a W, but I still feel there'll be some pride that Conor can take if he doesn't get knocked out.
Maybe
I know I would. If I were to go in there with Floyd and having never boxed before, regardless of what other sport I excel at, and to still last, I'd be happy as a clam, man. Anyway, so here's what I think as far as pay-per-view buys. When Superstardom collides, like Evie said, she gave out the numbers of what Pacquiao did on himself, on his own, and Canelo did on his own, and Floyd. But when Floyd did match up with one of the superstars, that's when Floyd had his bigger paydays. So, the proof's in the pudding. That's exactly what could propel this over 2, over 3, over 4. But in all of those fights, it was compelling. There was compelling arguments on why the other side could win. This might be the guy that beats Floyd. Canelo's younger and he's bigger. Pacquiao's a lefty, and he's crazy and he can off balance. He has power in his punches. De La Hoya, the crafty veteran, the Olympian, the reach, the height. There was always a case for why you had to tune in. And this one, there's really no reason to tune in because you're not going to witness history. You really aren't. So it's just a matter of, do I want to pay $100 to watch elaborate walkouts and, great-looking trunks and jewelry and rich people and famous people in the audience? Do I just want to be a part of that? I'm not tuning in to watch the possibility of an upset. I'm sorry, there's just no possibility of an upset. And that's what I think may deter someone from going, fuck that, let's just go out. Let's go out for the evening, take the wife, the girlfriend, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts.
So then you're going to spend $400.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's cheaper to stay home. All right, it's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93, Evie Rodriguez in the house.
On the run, I'm gonna have me some fun because me
that was like USADA line.
All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. We're joined by Evelyn Rodriguez here in studio, journalist, producer, covering the sport of mixed martial arts for Combate. Right? I said it right?
Yeah.
Combate. And do you introduce yourself as Evelyn Rodriguez or Rodriguez?
My name is Evelyn, and usually my accent is terrible, so people never understand. So I start saying Evie because it'll be easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I said Rodriguez, but
in Brazil, you're Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Okay.
Rodriguez.
And if you see Randy Couture, do you say hi, Handy, or do you say hi, Randy? Like, have you
That's
adjusted already your accent?
I had to adjust it, but like some names, like Luke Rockhold, we say Hockhold, and he always plays like, oh, you're calling me Hockhold? What? Like, can you say again? Because the R's and the H's are the problem.
Okay. Evie, much props to Combate. You guys break a lot. And I had a feeling, we'll be sitting here doing the show going, that damn Combate got it again. I go, I know it's, I call you Evelyn, but, now we'll call you Evie. I know that's what you prefer, but I'm like, I know it's that Evelyn lady that's here. Because she's anytime there's media here in Vegas, you can always count on Adam Hill, Kevin Aielli, Brad Okamoto, John. Evie's there, man. She's there working and grinding. She's been doing it for a long time. And so Combate, I know huge presence in Brazil, but a lot of the news comes from here. So I imagine that's you that's breaking a lot of these stories. Good job.
Thank you. We have a very good team in Brazil as well, but we usually work together very close, And I've been here since 2011 covering mixed martial arts, so I'm glad I actually learned about sport a little bit and get some connections, It's pretty good.
And what's the difference? How much of a difference did it make in your career moving to Vegas?
I actually was not a sports journalist before, I just came to Vegas to learn English. That was like
really
2010, yeah. And then after I was here studying,
you knew zero about MMA?
Zero.
Wow.
My first fight was Anderson and Vitor Belfort because they were bringing a lot of Brazilians to town, and one of the sports website from there was like, can you do this? And I was like, I don't really know who Anderson Silva is, I knew Vitor Belfort.
That's a great story.
Seriously, he was in a reality show in Brazil, and he, I knew who he was, but I was like, I don't even know what this is. And then I remember I went to cover the story, and because I didn't know about the sport, I was asking very simple questions, and
but probably atypical questions of what they're used to. So it's probably refreshing.
Because they had only specialists, so I was asking more from the point of view from that fan who didn't really know about sport, and because of that, they started getting a lot of views, and they were like, "Can you keep doing that? Can you keep doing that?" And then after a while, the UFC found out I was Brazilian, and they were trying to go to Brazil. So I started doing some meetings and trying to understand if I could work with this. I started meeting some of the jiu-jitsu coaches, because every athlete has a Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach. That's how I kind of learned about the sport, and I've been here since then.
Wow,
that is a good story.
So yeah, the other thing I was gonna say, her questions are great. Like when I go to these scrums, a lot of the journalists. We ask questions here on the show to the fighters, but it's different. It's a different cadence. It's a different tone. When I'm at those press conferences, I'm not too comfortable. I just stay quiet. I don't want them to give me the microphone or anything like that. I think it's just different because you're just talking about that specific moment. We're there for a press conference. You might get a fan that says Mayweather, and Pacquiao or whatever, but if you're there to promote it, Holly Holm, versus Valentina in Chicago. You're there to just talk about that. So it's event specific, but you guys all do a great job asking those questions and keeping the flow of these press conferences going. And that's not easy to do, especially because how the UFC's just there's some things they want to talk about, some things they don't.
And you have to ask in a nice way sometimes. You have to ask that question that the guy does not want to answer. But if you say in a way that he cannot say, he needs to answer, and I think I'm good at that sometimes. I did a lot of interviews that were with crazy subjects, and I needed to go to the point. And maybe because I'm a girl, it's also a little different the way I would ask something, and they respect a lot of my work, and that's good as well. It's been a lot different for me since the past 2 years because I've been traveling much more, But right now I got connections with the Brazilian and the American guys, and also the other fighters. They know who we are now, because before you would say like, I'm from Brazil, and they were like, okay, so you know, or they didn't know who Combate or Global was, but right now everybody knows, and that makes things easier as well.
Can you kind of explain the differences? Because you were talking about the Floyd Mayweather fight and where that could land as far as Combate versus Global. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Global is like Fox here, you know, like it's the open TV, and then we have 3 channels. There's Sport TV 1, Sport TV 2 that talk about like other sports. Sport TV 1 is more soccer. Sport TV 2 is like all kinds of sports, and then we have Combate, which is only about martial arts. So it's like a pay-per-view kind of channel. It's like it's not an open channel, you know, but it's all the
Like
programs
premium package?
yeah, but the programs are always about martial arts. And usually we go more on Combate and Sport TV because, you know, it's regular day, like we do a lot of work. But when we have like a huge fight, it usually goes on Global, and Global usually is like Fox, you know, we have like some cards that we actually, because the Brazilians are fighting, the cards in Brazil, that they broadcast. And it's not live really. The live shows goes to Combate, and then after 30 minutes, I think they go to Global on open TV. But the numbers are crazy, you know. Like I tell people sometimes they don't believe it. Like each stories we write for Combate in the website, we get like the very good day we get like 3.5, 4 million views, you know, in only one story. So we have Brazil is a huge country, and everybody wants to know about it, and it's not everybody who actually has a premium TV. So we also do like play-by-play on the website. We broadcast some of the prelims cards, you know, and that's how we work.
Who are some of the big names outside of Brazil that generate a lot of traffic? Like maybe a Ronda Rousey, a Conor McGregor, those type of
Ronda,
people.
Connor, John Jones, you know, people wants to know a lot about him. Every time we have a John Jones story, we have a lot of hits. They go more for the Brazilians. It's crazy, like not all the Brazilians though. Like we have Anderson is still the first one, and then Vitor Belfort. Because of his family, everybody knows his wife in Brazil, you know. So every time we have something related to him, people still know him. Especially people who doesn't follow MMA, you know. They know who Vitor is because whatever he did outside the sport.
And his wife Joanna is an actress, right?
She was a dancer in a TV show in Brazil in the past. She was very, very famous, and today she takes care of his career, but people know them together because they've been together in a reality show in Brazil was a kind of a Big Brother thing, Big Brother show.
Is that when he was sucking her toes in the bathtub?
Yes.
Okay.
That show was very, you know, everybody watched it because it wasn't on open TV in Brazil too. So they became famous because of that, and then people know Vitor also because in the past he was the guy fighting all the time in the open TV, you know. He was very young, and people would watch his fights still.
Remember when he was Vitor Gracie at first?
Years
ago, like 20 years ago.
I went to Hawaii 3 weeks ago, and I found Thompson.
TJ Thompson.
TJ Thompson gave me an interview remembering that. He said that Carson Gracie called him like, I have this guy that is my son and blah, blah, blah. And they actually promoted him as his son.
He beat a guy named
John Hess.
from SAFTA, John Hess.
Do you know that the day
Super
of
Bowl.
they did all the posters and everything, and then Ralston came there and said, no, he's not a Gracie. You cannot say that he's a Gracie.
That's Helio's second oldest son, right?
And then, yes, and the day of the fight, they had to introduce him as Belfort. But all the posters, everything was like Victor Gracie.
Yeah. So it's true. See, you know, most fans will say, "Oh, look at the EDC."
Yeah,
there are already all the costumes. Everybody's all dressed up. You ever been to EDC? Electric Daisy Carnival?
No.
You know what it is, though, the big rave?
Yeah, I know.
The big have? Yeah.
Have, yeah.
I've never been to it. One year I want to go just to see it, I guess. You know, I feel like I'd be at Disneyland or something.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, without the kids. All right. So a lot of fans feel like when Vitor fights in Brazil, it's because there won't be enhanced testing, even though we're now under all USADA for the last 18 months, but still, it's what fans say. Dana used to counter with, that's what Global wants, that's what our TV partners want, they love him in Brazil. Was Dana spot on with what he was saying, or do you think, why do you think Vitor fought so much in Brazil?
I think people don't really understand how the testing works in Brazil, and like the commission was kind of new, you know, and the testing too, the lab for quite some time was close to the Olympics, and they had to redo everything. But I think they are doing a very good job right now, and Vitor fights there, I think, for two things, you know.
Okay.
First one is because of he's actually a big name still, and people know who he is. Second one, I think, is also taxes, you know, because they would pay a lot more taxes here in U.S. than they pay when they fight in Brazil. So I think that is also a way of getting more money, you know, if you fight. A lot of Brazilian fighters like to fight there because of that.
So if he headlines, more people watch on TV and more people come to the arena.
Yes.
He's just super popular, like
Yeah.
Anderson. Is he number
Yeah.
2 to Anderson?
Yes, I think it's Anderson and then Vitor. And we still have some other fighters that, you know, bring a lot of attention, like Junior dos Santos, you know. Jose Aldo kind of like right now is in that situation where he lost the title and people don't really know, you know. When he lost the title, we had a lot of hits on the website because people didn't know that he lost, you know. It's kind of weird, you know. But yeah.
What hurts Jose, excuse me? Here we think it's because he doesn't speak English as far as like our traffic over here. But what about in Brazil? Why is he the 4th most popular when he's probably been the 2nd? He's had the 2nd most longest reign to Anderson as a champion.
He doesn't like to talk that much with the media, you know.
He's over there, he doesn't talk either?
No, he speaks whatever he's thinking, you know. He's very sincere in everything. So he was talking a lot of things about UFC, and he doesn't care. It's crazy because if you actually know him, he's the same guy since before. He goes to the soccer matches, you know. He wears like very simple clothes. He takes the subway and everything. He doesn't really care about fame, and he's the same person. So maybe this is one thing that is good, but on the other hand, like, he doesn't really like to do a lot of interviews, you know, and he's too sincere. And I think people sometimes they don't really understand that.
Female MMA, women's MMA, excuse me. How popular is that in Brazil?
People love Ronda, you know. Still, like, because of that fight against Betty, it was just insane. Everybody wanted to watch that. And we have Chris Cyborg, you know. People really like the way she fights, and I think because Cyborg was one of the first females to actually do that in Brazil, she used to train at shoot box, and you know, with all the Anderson, Shogun, and all those crazy MMA fighters, people respect her a lot, you know, and they watch it a lot of MMA female fighters, like Claudia Gadelha. We have some good names, and it's not as popular as the guys fighting, but I think they are getting there, you know.
Is it still at a peak as it's always been, or has there been a little bit of a drop-off after Nogueira retired, after Anderson lost his title? Like, where would you say is the state of Brazil? You know, the UFC used to go down there, I think, 8 times, 10 times one year, and now they're down to like 3 the last few years.
The economy in Brazil is also very bad right now, you know, so I think they had problems with the shows that are very expensive. We don't have arenas like here where you just rent the arena and everything is done. They have to do everything, you know. They have to put cables, they have to build the structure for the arena to actually do a show there. I think that was one of the problems. And the stars too, they are retiring, you know. The biggest names, they are retiring. They have to start working and building new stars right now, and it's getting there, but we still don't have like a huge prospects, you know.
Are there new stars coming?
We have like Thomas Almeida, you know, Claudia Gadelha. We have some fighters coming up, but that it takes time to get to the stage where Anderson and Vitor was, you know.
Those are legends.
They are legends, yeah.
Vanderlei.
Minotauro, Vanderlei. They are names that they've been in the scene forever, you know. They've been fighting forever, and when you have new people coming in, people are just always comparing, like, oh, they're not as huge as Anderson or as Vanderlei, but they are still beginning, you know. It takes a lot of time to get to the point where Anderson was.
How are they? Do they take to Bellator at all? Like, do they know that Vanderlei Silva is fighting?
Yeah, they do. Bellator is getting bigger and bigger in Brazil. They are talking about doing a show over there, which would help a lot, you know, to tell people, to actually educate people on the shows. We also have shows in Brazil, like Shotu, or like they have other Jungle Fight. We have some other different shows there, and they bring people, you know, with different stars. So I think people actually know what it is. The thing is that in the past we had a lot of belts in the UFC, so people are like, oh my God, this is the second sport in Brazil right now. It was very big, and then those stars, they are actually getting older and, you know, losing. And Brazilians don't like people who lose, you know. Was the same thing in Formula 1, was the same thing with tennis. Some time ago we had Brazilians winning and everybody was tuning in and like, oh my God, this is the best ever. And when they start losing, you know, people stop watching. But we have the it's a different sport though, like MMA. You know, you always have people coming in, and it's gonna take some time for them to fill in the space and build some fans. But I think it's kind of renewing right now.
All right. 866-522-2846. Evie again covers the sport for Combate. She's also a photographer, a blogger, a journalist, videographer, very talented. You can ask her about anything in regards to MMA and in Brazil. Even though she lives here, she's got the beat of the pulse out there. Dean in Georgia. What's up, Dean? How you doing?
Gentlemen, how's it going? Miss Evie, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Good. So I have a question. So everyone knows this fight's going to be big. I don't, and you're discussing pay-per-view buys. What do you do for the undercard? Do you stay with the same type of thing where you could potentially do Jones or Anderson, or is that going to cost them too much money? I'm thinking they should promote like the future of boxing. Someone like a Lomachenko, you get all of Russia. You have additional audience. Because from the Ukraine, or someone like Errol Spence, who's been Olympian, so you could promote. Here's going to be someone that's going to be the future of boxing, U.S. Olympian, similar to kind of like a young version of a Jones. Going through the Olympics and coming up being a champion. What would be your approach, and who would you try to match up on the undercard?
I think they're definitely going to go with Mayweather promotion guys that are good within their promotion. That's who they like to promote.
Yeah, and I read something interesting as far as that card and why the UFC doesn't have a presence. Because if the UFC acts as promoter with their fighter, it's in violation of the Muhammad Ali Act in boxing. And therefore, they're just they're handling it all. They're still getting a cut, but they're handling it all. It'll be all boxing. It'll be Mayweather's opportunity to showcase his guys, and there's just no reason for any other UFC presence. The only other thing I heard was, will Bruce Buffer introduce Conor, and will Michael Buffer introduce Floyd? Okay, if we want to get cute, but I think if it's a Mayweather promotion, just have Michael Buffer do the whole goddamn thing. It's a boxing match, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think so.
I would do half and half.
Okay, I mean, I'm okay with that too. I mean, I'm not married to either side. Whatever happens, happens.
But it would be Jimmy Lennon actually would get that one.
You are correct. Yeah, Jimmy Lennon Jr. would be doing it. Mauro Ranallo has confirmed he'll be on the call for that night, along with Paulie Malignaggi, boxing analyst, and Al Bernstein, boxing analyst. Brian, I forget his last name. He'll be the host, like he always does. So it's like they're basically going with their A team there at Showtime Boxing.
They do that usually in Mayweather fights, right? They just put their own guys, and they don't really care about co-main or anything like that. The star of the fight is Mayweather, so.
Correct. Yeah.
And the stars will get there at the very end too.
Yeah.
They don't get there that early. That type of crowd.
Dean?
Nope, that's all I had. I just wanted to get your view on that. You guys have a wonderful weekend.
No one's been talking. Let me get one prediction from you. Holm and Correa. No one's been talking about that. Do you have a prediction on that fight?
I don't think.
Who are they?
Betch is that? Yeah, no, I don't think Betch is that. I think she had, when she goes against anyone that's a higher level competition, she loses. All her wins against kind of like sub 500 fighters. I think Holly Holm will redeem herself and win. She's lost to higher echelon in the division, and I think she could be. She'll beat Betch Carrera probably by second round knockout or something.
All right, buddy. All right, thank you for the call.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think Betch can close the distance.
So Betch, I had the same opinion of Dean, but I think it was Jessica Ai she fought.
Yes.
My internet slowed down here. And Jessica Ai has good boxing, and I thought she was going to piece up Betch. And Betch held her own. I think she's I underrated her early on. Now, I know Holly comes from a boxing background, but still, 4-ounce gloves. And it's not just boxing. I think I always say this, about a round and a half, Betch could pose some trouble. Over 5 rounds, I think Holly will outclass her. But early on, I think the fight can be exciting, and that's her best chance for an upset. Those are my thoughts.
I was surprised with Holly and Jimena. Jimena. They say Jimena. It's pretty funny.
Oh, Jermaine G. Vandemi?
They said her name is Jimena. She said to me that was Jimena de Vandemi. It was crazy. But Jermaine, I was surprised with the way Holly fought that fight. And I don't know about her mental game right now. I've been following her for a long time, and it seems like, I don't know, those losses are kind of weird in my opinion. But Betty spent some time also training at AKA for quite some time here in US, and
Oh, yeah?
she's been trying to change her game. So not for this fight, but for the past fights, she was down at AKA
With
training.
Javier?
Yeah, with Javier and
Okay.
Daniel Cormier and all those guys. She's trying to get better, but I still think Home has an advantage on her feet, and I don't know. I predicted Home winning by knockout in the first round, but I don't know really.
Do you plan on waking up or staying up late and waking up early to cover the event, or is your job more to cover, I guess, the bigger name fighters and the bigger events?
Usually I try to watch all the fights, even if I'm not working, and I watch it and I try to see what's going on, because I follow those guys for so long, and I need to know what happened, So I plan on watching that. Yes.
How about Rafael dos Anjos, another Brazilian champion who has fallen on hard times? What do you think? You think the weight cut was depleting him, and that's why his last couple fights were lackluster? Masvidal went up and did great. Cowboy went up and did great. You think Dos Anjos could fall in line there against Tarek?
I
Saffiedine?
think so. It depends on how he's gonna be on this fight against
Saffiedine, Tarek.
Yeah. And I don't really know. I know that he was losing a lot of weight, and that was something that was, bad for his body. And I saw how happy he was this morning when he did the weigh-in. He seems like very healthy. I just think that he's kind of short for the division, but let's see how he does, because he has a lot of power on his hands, and he fought in this division before. I just don't know if he can actually be as good against the UFC guys, because they've been doing that for so long. So I think he's gonna try to test the water and see what's better.
I think Dos Anjos was a fabulous 55er. I thought he was going to be a champion for a while. I think Saffiedine's tough. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if the size makes a difference. I like to always pick one underdog, and I think Saffiedine for me is the safest play. Stun gun's pretty tough. Kobe Covington's definitely on the rise. Arlovsky hits hard, but he's lost 4 in a row, and I think Tabora might be too much for him, and I don't think Correa can be home. So I think Saffiedine might be I'm still putting together my parlay for the weekend. Do you bet on fights?
I don't bet.
No?
I usually we have in the website, thecombate.com, we have your picks, and they have this
Oh, yeah?
going on to the end of the year. So
How do you do?
I won the past 2 years.
Yeah?
But this year I'm not doing good. My predictions are not the best.
Ours aren't too good either.
Yeah. How many people? Is it other journalists or?
Yeah. Usually 7, I think. So the past 2 years I was the only
Is
girl.
Fernanda on there?
No, Fernanda.
It's only
no,
Combate?
It's just only
Okay.
Combate, yeah. But in the past 2 years I was the only girl betting, and then I was the one who won. I don't know. This time there's another girl that works with us that is in the first place, but I'm not actually doing my homework, because usually they just ask, "Oh, what do you think of this fight?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, let's
You have to
see."
predict them all, or just the main card? Or?
They usually choose 5 fights.
5 fights?
And then you just say what you think is gonna happen, but you have to predict who wins, how wins, and in which round.
Oh wow.
And that's hard.
That is hard. That's real
The
hard.
winner, right?
Yeah, and we can't even get that right. All right, let's go to Showtime in Tennessee. What's up, Showtime? It's yo time.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? And how you doing, Evie?
I'm good, thank you.
You're welcome. I think I may be one of the only people that I like bench. I see one fighter getting better, and one fighter has kind of reached her peak. I'm not saying that she's going to win this fight, but I'm saying she has a chance, because I don't see Holly getting any better. I think Holly is maxed out, and she's as good as she's going to get. And I've actually liked what I've seen in bench her last couple fights. I think she just needs to make the fight ugly, really kind of turn it into a brawl, close the distance on Holly. Really, I fear Holly's kicks. That's the thing that I fear.
You're right.
Getting hit with a head kick.
Even though she comes from a
But
boxing
close
background,
that
you are right, man. It's those kicks that are devastating.
And Betch likes to chase. So I
Yeah.
can see her getting
Well, she's
caught
a
with
little
that.
reckless because she's fearless, but
Yeah,
because of that, I think it
that's
makes her
true.
dangerous. But go ahead, Showtime.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, George. I just want her to just stay in range, but stay out of range of that freaking right high kick that Holly has. That kick is freaking deadly. But
other than that, I think that'd be a good scrap, man. I just wish Betch would, try to get Holly to the ground. That's what I think. She has some nice ground and pound too. I would like to see that. And hey, on the RDA fight, I think pretty much the same thing. I want to see RDA take Safadine down, because if he stands and let off those amazing kicks, he's gonna be in trouble. But I think this is a big fight for RDA. I think we'll see the best RDA this fight. I think he feels kind of bad of what happened when he went against Keith Bird. So I pick RDA in that fight, and I like Kobe Covington as well.
All right, Showtime. Thanks for the call, my man. Yeah, we'll see. Like I mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of 55ers that have moved up and felt very comfortable and had some success early on. We'll see if RDA can be a part of that.
He's very confident, and he's not training anymore with Rafael Cordeiro.
Yeah.
He's doing his own camp, his own thing. He was training down.
Evolve in Singapore
Freddie
was
Roach,
one. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
for quite some time. So I think he's very, very confident, and I picked him to win just because of that. Like I watched some training, and he seems very good. But it all depends on how he's gonna feel, because the Safadine is pretty good, and
Right.
his size also, he has like quite some advantage on that, on the reach.
Yeah, very technical striker.
Yeah.
Fantasy football season kicks off with the FSTA Experts Draft Monday night on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Listen as some of the best analysis in the business compete against each other in a live fantasy football draft. Find out which players you need to have on your team this season and learn strategies to win your league. The FSTA Fantasy Football Experts Draft, Monday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Sirius 210, XM87, and on the SiriusXM app. That's next Monday, obviously, right, Danny?
Yeah, it's right after the weekend.
All right, cool. Can you believe it, goes? We're already getting to fantasy football talk.
Yeah. Can you believe it? Monday's right after the weekend, too.
It is, yeah.
You guys, breaking news
Wow.
here on...
Wow.
You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. Stay close.
Selection at your discretion. I know I'm
the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, two quick bits right here. My 3-team parlay for this weekend is Tarek Safadine, Colby Covington, and Marcin Tybura. That's what I'm riding with. I may add 2 more because, as you know, you only do 3s or 5s around here. No 4s. And follow me on Twitter at MMAjunkie George. I may have some more. And still waiting on a couple other sharps to chime in. Who knows? Goes, you also had some news there about Matt Hughes. Make it quick because we have our guest on, Al Iaquinta is coming on. But Matt Hughes his truck collided with a train?
Yeah, ESPN's reporting that his truck collided with the train and he's being airlifted right now.
Wow.
Dana White says apparently he has head trauma. His family's traveling to him right now.
Our thoughts and prayers are with Matt Hughes, his family and friends for a full recovery. Let's move on here to Al Iaquinta. Guys, his name pops up on our show all the time, doesn't he?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I don't know how he was able to pull it off, but after a 2-year comeback, brutally beating Diego Sanchez, he's become one of the more popular stars in the UFC. He joins us now on MMAjunkie Radio. What's up, Al? How you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. How's everything?
Great, man. Thank you for asking. Al, do you feel it? I mean, every day someone's bringing up your name. And honestly, most of the time they're saying good things. People want a piece of you, but it's because you're one of the big names out there in the UFC. And this having been after only 1 fight in the last 2 years, amazing.
No, I don't know if I'm feeling it. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. Yeah, I guess it's good. I kind of flew off the handlebars for a little bit. I guess made some noise and people are starting to listen. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm just going with it. Whatever.
I'll give you an example. You'll hear Mayweather, Pacquiao, blah, blah, blah. What are the details? I can't go more than maybe like an hour or so. If I log on somewhere, someone will say, I wonder what Al thinks of it. Your opinion matters. And I guess it's because, well, for one, you're an established fighter. You're very witty. You're very opinionated. But people want your take on things, dude. It's cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah. No, it's awesome for sure. It's good to be wanted or desired, I guess. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's good, man. I'm happy. I'm pretty happy right now. So just living life, man. You know.
What is your take on that fight? Since we're on that topic.
Oh man, I think McGregor he's got the ability to surprise a lot of people. He's been doing it since day one. So I don't think anyone's in a position to doubt the guy, you know. But on the other hand, he's fighting Floyd, who's the best of the best. Especially defensively, he can make it. I think he can make it a slow. You know, he can slow that fight down and make it make it a, you know, just like the rest. He wins a decision, kind of doesn't get hit, makes it look easy, and you know, doesn't even really break a sweat, kind of thing. You know?
Al, let's rewind 3 years.
Probably how it goes now.
Let's rewind 3 years. You told me, because you were in this studio and you were in town, you paid a couple grand to go out there and watch Pacquiao and Mayweather, and the guy put on an exhibition against an awesome boxer who's been doing it all his life, who is also a lefty. If he could do that up against Pacquiao, how are you even giving McGregor a chance?
You know, the reason I'm giving McGregor a chance is because he's no one gave him a chance. You know, he was not supposed to. He's defied the odds. He's really he's backed up everything he said. So, you know, the first time you doubt him, the second time you doubt him, the third, fourth, you know, wherever we're at right now, he's talked a lot of shit and he's backed it up. So, honestly, I do. I hope he goes out there and I hope he shocks the world. I hope he does. I think it'd be a great story. I think, and Floyd Mayweather owes me a couple grand from that fucking ticket I bought. It was the worst fight ever.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because, you know, we were talking about the people here in Vegas and just the looks on their faces as they were walking out of the arena. You were one of those guys. Is there any chance that you would be in the arena for this fight?
There's not a shot. I mean, give me a ticket, I'll go, but no, definitely not. I think, I don't know though. If it's the shot that McGregor does something big, you know how crazy that's going to be. That's going to be insane. But no, I'm not going to buy a ticket now.
Is there a round that you can point to where you say, if it hasn't happened up until this round, it's just not going to happen?
I would say probably like halfway through the fight, probably
about 6
rounds. I'd say maybe 15 minutes. You think like an MMA fight. I think Conor gets tired after the first half of the fight, so that's but it's 3-minute rounds, so he gets an extra minute rest. Probably won't be such a crazy pace as the Nate Diaz fight. It'll probably be him pushing the fight more than Nate pushing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably give it probably halfway through the fight. I think the longer past halfway it goes, the more it favors Floyd.
If MMAjunkie Radio were to send you a text,
I think it favors Floyd the whole time, but just more, the later it goes, even more and more and more. I think he's got to hit him with a hard left hand pretty early,
If George or I gave you a text that said, we have 2 tickets, one's for Mayweather and Conor, and the other one's for Triple G and Canelo, which one would you fly out for?
Probably. Oh man, that's a good question. I would probably the ticket. I'd probably go to McGregor.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I thought this was going to go in another direction. I thought he's a completely clown Conor, but a lot of respect there shown towards Conor from Iaquinta. He's had plenty of chances to slam him, and he hasn't. So I respect that. The MMA guy backing the MMA guy.
No, I think that's how it's got to go, right?
Yeah, but Al Iaquinta also keeps it real, keeps it 100. So I thought, maybe, I don't know, you'd have a different opinion, but I guess not.
No, I'm keeping it real. I think I think it's going to be, I think if it goes the way it's supposed to go, it's going to be 12 rounds. If who knows if Conor can even go 12 rounds with the guy. He gets a little tired later, gets a little sloppy, but Floyd's getting up there. He's never been really a finisher per se, but no. It's I tell you one thing, I'll be watching though. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a spectacle.
Well, I want to watch you fight, so I want to know. Let's talk about some fights that are out there. Perry got matched up with Alves, so he's off the table. Would you have gone up to welterweight for that? Is that how that would have worked? Why'd you want a piece of him and not?
I wanted that. I wanted that fight, but he didn't. They didn't want it. The UFC didn't want it. They didn't want. I don't know what they didn't want. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the deal is.
I see you pushing Ferguson around a little bit on social media. Has there been any buzz on that one from the UFC?
I don't think they were opposed to it, but I don't think Ferguson wants it.
He's just waiting for Conor.
He's just kind of hanging out. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his deal is. He's that guy. You have no idea what the hell that guy's thinking about. The freak. You read that guy. You read the thing that guy says. Guy makes no sense.
Why is that?
No sense.
What does he say?
Yeah, hold on. I think if I can pull it up here. Let me see. Hold on. What is this? You tell me what this. Tell me if you know what this means, because I have no fucking clue. I just gotta find out how do I get to my profile on Twitter? I retweeted it, and it's just ridiculous. He said, no sense, like dollars and cents, not no sense. He says, no sense trying to ice the kicker when he's kicking the shit out of the competition. Snap Jitsu trademark. And then there's a meme of Ice-T, kind of slapping the word hustler. And that's what he said.
I see it.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what is this guy thinking about? What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess what he's trying to say is stop talking to me when I'm the. Stop trying. I guess he's the kicker, so stop trying to ice him. Meaning, when they call a timeout to make him think about Because he's kicking the whole division's ass. Who knows?
That's a lot there.
It is a lot to put together.
Process.
Yeah.
And then the Hustler thing slapping. Like, what is that? What is this guy?
Well,
honestly.
I know Ice-T sang that song, New Jack Hustler, Hustler Hustler from New Jack City. So I think that's how he puts those together. But
Yeah.
I hear you. All right, yeah, it wasn't the best smack talk ever.
So no one knows what that guy's talking about ever. The guy just blah 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 blah. He's mumble. I don't know. And I don't know. He gets hurt every fight. That's like I think it's a great fight for me. He'll be rolling around on the ground, looking for trying to grab my ankles, doing that little tumble salt thing he does. But he cannot. It's impossible. I've seen him on the mitts. I've seen him fight. He's sloppy. He gets hurt every fight, and then guys get suckered into his sloppy nonsense fight. There's no reason Edson Barbosa should have lost to that guy. There's no reason Lando Venata should have lost to that guy. They had him hurt on ice skates the whole time, and they just go crazy, and there's no finishing skills, none whatsoever. So I know for a fact that I will land a punch on him, and he'll not recover. He's not a good. He's got good jiu-jitsu, decent wrestling. His stand-up is atrocious. He's just so sloppy that no one knows what he's going to do. But that's beyond the point because he's not. He doesn't want it.
Iaquinta, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. We're also joined by Evelyn Rodriguez from Combachi. She's our co-host for the day. Evie, what do you have for Al?
Hi, Al. Diana said to Combachi.
Hey, Evie.
How are you? Dana White
Good,
said to
good.
Combachi yesterday that the next fight for McGregor would be between Ferguson and Khabib. He said that he's going to make that fight in the next months, and then the winner will face McGregor. I want to know your opinion. Like, do you agree with the fight, even after everything that happened with Khabib last time? And do you think it's fair? How do you think the division will be since Conor is taking Floyd Mayweather now?
Yeah, I mean, he said that's the fight. I don't know. I wanted to see that fight. I wish that fight would have happened. I was looking forward to it. That was one of the fights. I don't really look forward to fights that much anymore. Like, kind of, they kind of just jump. There's so many fights nowadays that kind of just jump at you out of nowhere. And this was kind of one that I was really looking forward to. Was Khabib and Ferguson. And when Khabib missed weight, I mean, it's like unexcusable. And then he goes on his little hiatus because of religion or whatever it is, and then now he's coming back and he gets the same fight again. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But I guess it's the fight everyone sees. Were they going to fight at a catch weight, or is he going to make 155 after? Now he's like, he's been off for a while. He didn't make it last time. He hasn't been. I don't know.
I think Khabib's out. Look, I like Khabib. He's undefeated, but he wasn't able to make it to the dance. I think Ferguson should be the lead, which would leave Khabib off to the side. Al, does that fight interest you there? We also had Evan Dunham here in studio with us. He wants a piece of Al Iaquinta. We also had Kevin Lee here in studio with us. And I think at some point, him getting past Chiesa, he'd like to get in the cage with you too. So I'm throwing a lot of names out there. Which one's making your tail wag?
Well, I don't think he's getting past Chiesa. That's the first thing. The other guy, I honestly have no interest because I start looking at my phone when he fights because I don't think anyone wants to see anyone fight that guy. But I don't know. I'm just gonna sit and wait for somebody to get hurt, and I'll just fight someone I want to fight. Someone's gonna get hurt. Maybe Thiago Alves doesn't make it, and that's the fight that I just maybe a couple of days notice, hop in there. Mike Perry.
What started that whole thing with Perry?
He's just dumb. I don't know. He's actually, I really feel bad for him more than anything. Because I tweeted something when I didn't win the bonus. I said, fuck you to the UFC. I wasn't saying it to Mike Perry. I was saying it to the UFC. You should have realized that. And he was like, this and that. Like, he said something to me. Like, he started shit. I wasn't starting shit. dude, you had a great knockout. By all means, you deserve to win the bonus over me for sure. You basically killed a guy, but then so I wasn't, and the rest of the people knew I wasn't talking to them. I was not directing that towards them. But I guess he thought that I was. So he said something, and I said something back, and I think that would be, out of all the fights, that would be like one of the easiest ones. I just don't get knocked out and you win the fight. I think it's very easy. And he's not the fastest. He gets tired. He throws one single punches or he throws just flurries from his hip. I think that's a great fight for me. And there's a reason why the UFC didn't want to put me against him. And there's a reason why him and his management went after Thiago Alves instead of me. I mean, he said he wanted a higher profile fight at once. He said Thiago Alves went down to 155, lost, goes back to where it's like, how does that make sense to anybody? No one wants to see that. I mean, you want to see? I mean, I don't know. So, listen, I tried to. They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball on everything.
We got 30 seconds left. Let me ask you one last name that's being left out of all this, because with what Evie's saying, Khabib or Ferguson could face Conor. What about Nate Diaz? You got any beef with him? Respect? Interested in that matchup?
I got a lot of respect for those guys. They're good friends with Matt Serra, and they come from the same lineage. But I think, I think that's a great fight. I don't think he'd be too interested in it. He's looking for bigger fights, but yeah, man, I'm down to fight anybody, and I think that it would be a good fight. But again, I think I don't know. He's not at the top of my list, but I think I think it's just a ridiculous. I don't think that's a fight to even talk about, because he won't take that fight. He wants the money. I know what kind of fight he's looking for. He doesn't want to fight. Tony Ferguson. He's not going to fight me. All
right, man. Good to catch up with you, Al Iaquinta. Go out there and sell them homes. I heard you do a kick-ass job in that, and congrats on having that fallback. And, of course, if it's back in the cage, we'll cover you there, too. You're a stud in the MMA world, so thanks for the time.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home anywhere in the United States, look me up. I can help you out.
There you go. Thanks, Al. Take care, man. Enjoy your weekend.
Got it.
All right.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, folks. We're going to do last commercial, then we'll come back to clean up shop. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93.
I think we uploaded this morning. This is the. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Let's see how it.
They pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been. And because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMAjunkie Radio.
Oh, those are the other journalists?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Evelyn Rodriguez can be followed on Twitter there's a V in front of the Evie.
Yeah.
All right, what's that for, the V?
It's
Vivi?
because, yeah, Vivi is Bevi in Portuguese. It's because
Bevi,
Evie
okay.
was already taken, so I was like,
V-E, you didn't want to be the real Evie Rodriguez?
I try it, but
All right.
no.
V-E-V-Y Rodriguez is her last name. Follow her on Twitter. She's also got a cool website that explores more about her photography side, so check it out. Evie, you're in Vegas. It shouldn't have taken us this long to invite you. We apologize. We'd love to have you back. We had a great time with you learning more about Brazil and the Brazilian landscape and learning more about you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'll be very happy to be back with you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, I want to thank all of our guests for the week. Simon Samano, Gaston Bolanos, Vince Pichel, Chael Sonnen, Max Holloway, Evan Dunham, Dan Stupp, Ben Wynn, Angela Reyes, John Orlando, Jason the Intern, Evelyn Rodriguez, and Al Iaquinta. We will see you all on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific with another edition of MMAjunkie Radio. And don't forget, keep it locked on MMAjunkie throughout the week as we cover UFC Fight Night 111 in Singapore. It's late tonight, early Saturday. We're out of here. Be champions.